Hello, welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks, and we're just talking about greasing the coasters. You know how it goes. Sometimes your glass sticks to a coaster, and Lucor gave us the sage wisdom to grease them down. So, hey everybody, welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks, as noted, but welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks 50th episode. So, thanks for listening to a lot, or maybe all of the episodes. Now you're going to listen to 50. That's a lot of episodes. And we're here with guests. And we are a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, or overlooked films. And today I'm, as always, here with Mike, and I am Paul, and next to me is Lamar and Lucor coming in. Yeah.
Hello. Hey, thanks for having me on the 50th episode.
Hey, thanks for being here.
Hell yeah.
We did it.
Yeah.
We're doing it with Manborg from 2011. Did you guys know that? 2011 Manborg?
I have 2013 on my note.
That's crazy talk, because it's 2011.
Okay. I don't know where I'm getting my notes.
Well, I'm going to give you an overview of Manborg. A soldier brought back to life as a cyborg fights alongside a band of adventurers against demon hordes in a dystopian future. And there's a lot to say about this group who made this film. The group is Astron 6. And Astron 6, it's noted, it starts off with their bio in Tolkien lore. Astron 6 is the day of the Elvish New Year, and a new year is upon us. Indeed, as they note. And then they highlight that they're all part of, a bunch of friends who are there, who make multimedia, or they're multimedia artists who share a fascination with the mechanics of fear and laughter. And they've made these short films. I remember once, I think on a bio, it highlighted that they were like the misfit kids who would go to, like the B-side video rental stores and get the B-side movies and the bargain bins. And these are the movies that they wanted to emulate. And as I told all the gentlemen here in this room, that I couldn't just come out of the gate with this podcast with Mike and be like, hey, this is episode 1. Like, we had to break it in. But I love this film, and I will gush over this film for the rest of this podcast. And I thought this movie in particular deserved a bit of notoriety to celebrate with our 50th episode. Boom. Boom.
Good job bringing this one out for the 50th. I don't want to say this movie inspired the podcast, but I remember back in the day when we were talking about putting together this little podcast, some of the movies that you would review, and I think this one was a top 3 or top 5 that you guys kept mentioning over and over again. I said to myself, I would have to be there when you're going to review it, because I remember when I watched it with you boys before, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
And you introduced me to this wonderful group of movie creators in Astron 6. I think all their other projects are really, really good.
Yeah, we started off with Father's Day. That was Mike and I's introduction many years ago, and immediately found Manborg after. Yeah.
Yeah. Father's Day is grosser. than this movie.
Father's Day is a trauma film, so we have noted kind of our views on trauma films before, and it's definitely Astron 6 meets trauma.
Yeah, it's more penis-y.
Yeah.
To Lamar's point, this is at least a spiritual influence to this podcast, because this is I've seen this movie so many times over the past 10 years.
Also, I love everything Astron 6 has done. I own the DVD of Manborg. I noted that they did Father's Day, which I also own. The Editor, they have a bunch of shorts put together, and Chowder Boys was their last short story, which is on a collection of shorts that I have, which we'll talk Divorced Dad, which is amazing. I wrote Divorced Dad, and they responded to me once. Divorced Dad was basically a divorced dad running like a PBS talk show you would call Divorced Dad, and they were running a Twitter account, and the guy who plays Manborg was Divorced Dad, and I asked him advice, and the advice I asked was, I think it was, how many malls do I need to visit until I could feel again? And he responded, and he gave me sage wisdom about where I could go. So I appreciate that, Divorced Dad. And Astron 6, I'm not joking. Like, if you, I said on the last podcast as we're ending with Jeremy, I said, please listen to or watch Manborg before you watch this. And you should watch Manborg before you listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did Astron 6 do Psycho Gorman?
The director of this movie did Psycho Gorman,
Okay.
that has members, if not all of Astron 6, but it was a deep part from Astron 6. It was just him kind of on his own.
Okay. I like that movie very much.
Yeah, I think we should do
definitely.
Psycho Gorman clearly at some point in time on this podcast. Like, oh my God.
Yes.
That movie, if this movie made you feel awesome on the inside, Lucor, Psycho Gorman, I think would only extend it as it is a fuller movie, maybe an hour and a half.
I think this movie doesn't waste any time. It went right into it. So
Yeah, this movie weighs in like under like an hour and 10 minutes. I mean, I think it's like when we watched it was an hour and 3 was listed. I mean, this movie's awesome. I read somewhere on IMDb this was done on a $1,000 budget, and if that is correct, even today, that's amazing.
That is impressive.
Yeah, I don't care if you like, dislike, or whatever you feel about this film. You've got to be impressed by what someone did or a group of people did with a $1,000 budget like this. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly there were people working for free on this. Like when you see $1,000 budget, like the director did the music.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm sure they all kind of chipped in on the computer effects. Like you couldn't make this movie for $1,000 if you had to pay someone to do it.
Yeah.
This was clearly a passion project for all involved.
I love the passion in this project.
and the talent.
Yeah. So Stephen Kostansky is the director, and noting that he did other things as well, including Psycho Gorman, which we noted. The Void was also not part of Astron 6, which I've also seen. And
Oh, really? He did that?
yeah, we saw that on Rami's birthday, which is funny. Rami, who has been a guest on the show,
yeah.
and he was the director of Father's Day. And he's in it, I believe, or his brother, I think, or someone who he's related
Oh,
to.
that's right,
Was one of the trash people in this. So good times. So yeah, we open up with some kind of like weird dystopian, you know how it goes. I'm loading up some notes.
The Hell Wars.
Yeah, there's been some Hell Wars. Earth, the legacy of the Hell Wars, when mankind fought the armies of Hell, and Hell won. So we're in it for that. With every passing hour, another nation crumbles. Things like that are happening. The unholy menaces are coming out, and they're all led by Count Draculon, which, Lucor, if you did not know, Count Draculon was also the same actor, Doctor Scorpius. Boom. Double dipping.
He did a good job, even though the characters were, I don't want to say the same. They're just, we'll get into it later once we introduce these characters.
No, the Count, like the real big baddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dracula and
Yeah. I felt he didn't really say much. It was more like, like Manborg. And I understand, but like I would not have thought that was the same person, which is Adam Brooks, who is one of the leads in Psycho Gorman, which I love you, Adam Brooks. Please be on our show at some point in time. He's also an artist. I follow his art on Instagram. He seems amazing. All these guys seem amazing. So Astron 6 is now a defunct group, unfortunately, but it seems like they all still act maybe a little bit here and there. I really don't know. Adam Brooks seems like the most... or the one that keeps acting more that I see pop up in certain things.
Oh, I didn't know they were defunct or just not together anymore.
Yeah, I believe Chowder Boys, that short that we watched, that was it. Like that was officially their last hurrah.
All right.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, it's good. It's a little Christmas slant to it. It's in the winter. We haven't watched this.
I don't think so.
I have
crazy.
not seen that.
Oh my god, we've totally got to watch this at some point.
Definitely.
We even watched a little bonus after this film, which we could talk about after. There was a little dessert of Astron 6, which I feel that's the way you got to do it, like an homage to this group. I said I'm going to gush over this group. This is why I didn't want to come out of like episode 1 where people would be like, oh my god, this guy's going to be like over the top all the time. But like I love these guys. And I feel that's the way you got to watch their material. It's short, as Lucor noted, direct to the point. This movie's about an hour, so we watched a little something after that we could talk about after.
You know, the movie was only like 60 minutes or so, but kind of felt a little, I don't know if it was the way they filmed it or just the pacing of it. It felt like a full 90-minute picture. And
I agree.
The way we watched it with commercials, we got this off Tubi. Is that right?
Yeah.
Even with the commercial breaks, it still felt like I don't want to say a full 90-minute movie, but kind of close to it. So it still got the feel of a full movie. It's not like you're watching 2 episodes of something. It's a full movie.
It is funny that it is a telltale sign of the times that you noted that we watched this on Tubi, and I previously was like, I own this on DVD, which is true. I was so lazy not to get that DVD. I was like, we're going to have to watch a couple commercials, and we did do that. But I do own every Astron 6 on any format, Blu-ray or DVD. Like, no joke. But I was so lazy not to get it.
You did buy it.
And there was a shenanigrams reel on the DVD. There was like some outtakes.
Nice. Yeah, sometimes you just got to kick to be a little,
Yeah, so what we have the Hell Wars, and I don't know what their I don't even know if they have names, but there's 2 brothers. They're soldiers, fighting whatever. They look like Nazi demons, kind of. I think the imagery was supposed to be like Nazi adjacent, right?
Like super Doom.
Yeah. There was a lot of like Doom and Wolfenstein in this movie. Like all of the hell creatures look like they're right out of Doom, and the hell soldiers are just like Nazi ghoul people. But yeah, so these 2 brothers are fighting, and I guess the older brother gets mowed down by Count Draculon, because he's just
yeah.
And the other brother, the younger brother, kind of freaks out, gets and does eventually succumb to Count Draculon. But while Count Draculon is holding him up and telling him what's what, he's like, you may kill me, but I'm gonna come back for you. I'll get you.
It is a weird thing to say to someone at some point in time. I mean, I don't know. I think the perfect person to be in this room is Lucor. It seems like a real Lucor thing to do, that if Lucor was going to die, I could really see that being like something adjacent to what he would say to you. Like, I will find a way to come back and kill you. And that shit will haunt you. Yeah, because like I don't want to live the rest of my days being like, oh man, was that like a sincere curse? Like, am I cursed? Like, I'm not going to kill Lucor, but like...
Well, there's only one way to find out.
We had one of our friends write that Lucor was in possession of his soul at one point in time on some currency. I wouldn't mess around with Lucor and what you can and cannot do after the afterlife, especially if currency is involved.
But so as the 2 brothers are both laying there dying, the older one says to the younger one, it's not all about killing, it's about family.
It is.
That's a great quote.
And I feel like that's something, without in any way being cheesy, this movie constantly weaves in, really strong advice.
Yeah. All about family. It's basically like Fast and the Furious.
I was just about to say,
yeah, it's all family.
Oh my God, Mike, have you seen the most recent Fast and Furious movie?
No, I haven't. Have you? Has
No.
anyone? Okay.
Didn't it just come out?
I think so. I don't know how they're going to one-up Ludicrous driving a car in space.
You cannot.
So-
You cannot. I watched that movie with my mother-in-law. The most recent, or the one before this one, 9. I have not seen them all. As I said before, I'm not like super familiar with this franchise. I've seen a couple. P.S. In any of my travels to Asia, that's all they play on Asian HBO. Just Fast and Furious movies nonstop.
Just in order over and over again.
Not in any kind of order. It is just random, and I've seen like tons of clips. But that was one of the few movies I sat down and watched all of it, and they do go to space. And my mother-in-law was like, "Do you watch this with me to like laugh at me?" I was like, "No." Like, she has like a great sense of humor. She's like, "Okay, this is like nuts." I was like, "Yeah, okay."
But doesn't she legitimately love that series?
Oh yeah, but in the exact same way you do, where it's like, this is all insane, but like I love these stunts and I'm willing to watch all of this. It's amazing music with super fit people doing awesome things in cars. Yes.
And I think the only way they can really go forward and top where they've been is to do it again on bicycles.
Oh, I hope so.
In space.
Yeah.
Is this the last one? Was that like? Is that it? Like,
It'll never be the last one.
but like maybe of this group.
Oh, maybe. I think they're gonna do more spin-offs.
Yeah.
Well, I thought at first, I don't know, we're going super tangential with this conversation.
Yeah.
I thought at first this movie was going to be like part 1 of 2. Am I wrong with that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
I've heard so many different things about it. I can't even imagine what it would be.
I just don't know enough. I'm not fast enough or furious enough in my research.
2 problems we can solve.
Maybe if only we had the technology, we could produce this podcast. But God help us if we could look up if there's going to be more Fast and Furious movies and who's going to be in them.
Yeah.
This party's done.
Yeah, that's fair. It's worth watching those movies, though. They're fun.
Yeah. And going back to Manborg's promise to come back, Draculon is quite visibly delighted by this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what he says, but he's like, good.
I look forward to it.
He's like, I look forward to it. Like, all right.
And he's pretty much just reveling and killing these 2 brothers.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yes, and so we get a little Manborg action. We get a little what's going on. So
It's like a montage. It's like a little $6 million man montage.
I do like how they kill the brother. It's kind of like RoboCop when they kill like Peter Weller in the beginning, and they're shooting him. He's like, his body's just, and they leave him on the ground. It's pretty much similar to that.
yeah, so Matthew Kennedy is the lead. He will become Manborg. He is one of these brothers. He is, one of the members of Astron 6. And we see the body slowly dragged off, and you're like, what's going on? But then, as Lamar notes, it's a very, very RoboCop opening where it's very kind of 80s, like digital red coding and like boop, 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 boop. Things are happening, but like God knows what any of those things are. That's kind of the technology you're shown, and you as the audience member are wondering, like, are they rebuilding him? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And it's really an A-team level of tool usage. Like at one point, I'm not sure why, but a large drill gets used.
Drilling into his skull. I think they used the angle grinder on his shoulder. It's like weird as shit.
Hey, in this future, you'd be lucky to have those tools.
Yeah,
you'd
you
be
use
a
what's
rich
around.
man.
That's very true.
But it's a successful montage.
It is. And then we see Manborg waking up in a box.
Yeah, he bursts out of like some coffin.
Yeah, right. And he's kind of doing the Bambi, like learning how to robot walk sort of thing. And then now we're introduced to the first member of what will become our new crew, number 1 man.
Yeah, this is Lucor. As we were watching this, didn't you say this would be like a great like video game series?
Yeah. As I was watching it, I couldn't believe I couldn't go to a video arcade and play this movie.
Well, number 1 man is basically Liu Kang. So
yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with Lucor. This is totally video game vibes. Now you're in this like futuristic city, and yes, there's this guy just wearing pants, kind of dressed like Liu Kang, and he's like, "Stay with me." And I think he says, "They call me number 1 man." He's speaking in somewhat broken English sometimes, but everything he says is awesome.
And the vocal quality of this movie, I think it should be noted, is very much like Thundercats.
yeah, that's accurate.
I only kind of know what that means.
Very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
I think what helps his Liu Kang vibe is just the way this movie is shot, which I wanted to bring up earlier. Just everything, it feels kind of Mortal Kombat-esque. Just the background, the way he moves, and later we'll describe some fight scenes, but every scene of his, it just looks like it's taken from a video game.
It does. So that number 1 man introduces himself, and Manborg goes, "What?" But then they see there's like some Nazi hell ghouls.
Just some rogue
Yeah,
demon soldiers on the street.
yeah.
You got to break into your character somehow.
Right. This is like way in the future from when Manborg was killed, and we don't really know that yet, but we're piecing it together. But he sees these guys kicking someone's ass, and he's like, you know what? I got to intervene. And even number 1 man is like, keep a low profile. Like, I don't know who you are, but
Stick together, dude.
got to stick together. He's like, no, I got to go help. And he sort of walks over, and the Nazi guys see him, and they're like, "You, we'll fuck you up." And Manborg's response to this is to go, "Nope," and just runs right the fuck away.
Stay there. Nope. Yeah, that's shout out to my wife. That was her favorite line from Manborg on the numerous occasions she has seen this. Just nope, and just books it. Like, that's how you do it. Why would you stick around?
This was the origin of noping the fuck out of something.
Yeah, like, get the hell out of there. They're immediately detained. These demon thugs that you thought were level 1 turned out to be level 10. You're level 1, and they tase the hell out of them, and they both go down like a sack of potatoes. I do find this uncharacteristic of number 1 man, that later on he's such a badass that I think these even level 10 ghoulies would have gotten ass kicking from him. But, I'm not gonna get too nitpicky with his masterpiece.
It's because that babe shows up and kicks his ass.
Oh yeah,
because
Shadow Mega.
Shadow Mega, yeah. I think the lackeys couldn't have taken him, but because Shadow Mega was there, she's got the juice to take him down.
Yeah, so we see like mid-level boss show up.
Yeah.
And yeah, we don't know her powers, but she is definitely dealing with some kind of supernatural entity. She is not just dealing with guns and martial arts. She's definitely beyond.
She's also the only bad guy who looks like a human person.
Yeah. And is dressed super awesome. Like, honestly, like, no joke. She dressed like a mixture of who is the woman in the Avengers? Not the like Marvel film, but like the British
Miss Peel.
Yeah, she's kind of dressed like Miss Peel, in a more demon format. And I'm like, oh, she's kind of cool. But yeah, then they're detained. We learn a little more about Manborg.
And we meet the rest of the crew.
I love the crew and the Borgans.
It's a good crew.
The Borgans.
You gotta love the Borgans. And you meet the Baron, who's Jeremy Gillespie, and he does some of the additional music. And shout out to Jeremy Gillespie because I kickstarted or paid a little bit of this Kickstarter, like a bunch of people did. And one of the tiers for The Void was if you kickstarted at a certain tier, you got the soundtrack of Jeremy Gillespie and a lot of the Astron 6 stuff, and they did send it to me digitally. It's super awesome. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's on my phone. Thank you.
Right on.
I listen to cool guys to cheer myself up often, more often than I should probably admit.
Yeah, no, cool guys is all right.
Sometimes you're feeling down, you got to put on cool guys.
Yeah, crank it up.
So yeah, they're in this like weird laser prison, and yeah, we meet the gang. So the gang consists of what Justice?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oi,
Hey, his sister
Mina.
And well, that's it. That's the gang. It's just the 4 of them.
I was like, who else is in the game?
No,
and we meet the Baron.
And
we meet the Baron.
And I couldn't help but, I wonder if it's on purpose, but here we have Draculon and Mina. It just made me think of a shout out to Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mina Harker.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Good call. I didn't piece that
Very
together.
good call.
I know, Lucor. Thanks for making us feel dumb. Get all a couple drinks and, getting our groove on. This guy's bringing up some, like, lit observations.
More you know.
Lit like literary or lit like lit?
Both.
Both, yeah.
It depends on when you're listening to this podcast.
And I am a little bit lit.
Yeah.
Denver, Colorado, anytime is the right time.
But she looks very much, I'd say, like Tifa from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy all over the place. Totally Lucor, like Future City, various other things. Yeah. I feel like I totally agree with how she's made up because, like, instantaneously you could tell there's a camaraderie that centers around her. That number 1 man has, like, some kind of affection to her. Manborg kind of also feels something instant connection. It's Justice's sister, so they're related. The Baron, you'll find out soon, loves her. But you as the audience, I feel like you're brought in as, like, this is the universal sister. Like, she seems cool. She's, like, there to, like, she's definitely one of the group, and she, like, connects with everyone. So I feel just like in Final Fantasy that Lucor is noting, that's kind of the written bond. You're like, oh, what can I do to help? Like, we got to get out of here.
Right. Well, the other person that has affection towards Mina is the Baron.
I love the Baron.
I also love the Baron.
The Baron is like a grown-up Stewie Griffin.
Yeah, he's like Doctor Acula, Count Draculin's like right hand guy, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like walking through the prison all menacingly, like, I'll tell you what to do with the prisoners. And then he walks past Mina-san and is like,
Prisoner 7.
Prisoner 7. Well, and he gets all like nervous and kind of Twitter-baited.
There's a scene between him and Doctor Scorpion, or what is it, Scorpion?
Dr. Scorpius?
Dr. Scorpius, yes, sorry. There's a scene between him and Dr. Scorpius later that I honestly think about once a week. I'll get there. It's just kind of like weirdly amazing for me.
Yeah, when he's not drinking. Have we met Dr. Scorpius yet? Because he strolls in pretty soon.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Right after, I believe, the Baron.
Okay.
I think he's just like a background character before he starts talking. So you're like, what the hell's going on with that guy?
Yeah. Somebody calls him out as a traitor, though.
Yeah,
one of the
Justice.
Justice.
A traitor.
I love Justice.
There was this one scene where the Baron he goes over to Mina's like little cell and he's trying to like, ooh, what are you? And she's like, don't want to be with you. I'd rather be dead. And he's like, that makes two of us.
Yeah,
We have so much in common.
We have so much in common.
It's like, maybe we'll see
There
you
it
later.
is.
I have my own nightmare chamber. Yeah.
Trying to
So,
form a bond with her.
so I know my wife's two favorite things in this movie are the nope and taking off, but they ask Manborg his name, and yet he is not named. And he looks at his hands, and he goes like, "Rrr, rrr," and he's like, I'm a man, but Borg, Manborg. My name is Manborg, and just introduces himself. And Justice goes, Manborg, more like asshole, for no reason. That's just how Justice rolls.
Yeah.
I love Justice so much.
I think it's worth pointing out, and I was talking to friend of the podcast and occasional guest host Chris about this movie, and he's not actually seen this movie, which is surprising and something I hope to remedy. But he pointed out that the Borg in Cyborg is the human part. It's org is organism. So Manborg is basically like man.
That makes me think to one classic movie, Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Yeah,
Which is
there
just
you go.
Hands, the Hands of Fate.
Yeah, exactly. So that's Chris. You're right. This is man.
Yeah, and the other side note is Justice and Mina are brother and sister in real life, and she is in other film or makes cameos in other Astron 6 movies as well. I know Father's Day. Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, Doctor Scorpius, waltzes through, and Justice calls him a traitor. And then basically they're about to be brought to the arena. Yeah, I had in my note that what Lamar noted, that he hits on Mina some more. Got my own nightmare chamber. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got a good nightmare chamber.
Yeah.
And then they go to the arena, and then
the terror octagon.
yeah, and so it's filled with demons in the stands, and a bunch of weird demons get on some like hover bikes. And immediately Justice goes, blood-sucking freaks. Anything Justice says is amazing. And Justice's secret power in this movie, which is very established at the end, he is a crack shot with the gun. Like, I mean, he starts showboating for the rest of the movie. Like, anytime he pulls the trigger on a pistol, it's like a dead-on shot to like a demon. And he usually is wielding too, which is amazing.
Well, it's like that gun fu like from Equilibrium, but instead of being cool, it's just him like dancing like a doofus.
That's true.
Yeah, which is fine.
No, but it works. It
does.
If you got a special skill,
all the shots are landing.
yeah, if you have it, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, it's like a New York club kid merged with Chow Yun Fat.
It is, yeah.
Lamar, you're the football guy here. Can you still showboat after, doing touchdowns? Like, what aren't there like reasonable limitations? Like, you could clearly be like, yeah, I did it, and high five your team, but like, aren't like dances and backflips and all that shit, like, is that like super like frowned upon?
you gotta read the room and you gotta calm down with that stuff. You can't just put together a 30-second choreographed whole team like dance and kick number. They let you get away with like 5-10 seconds of stuff. That's really like ref discretion. But if you're sitting out there for so long and you're shaking around, you're like, nah, let's calm down. I'll give you a flag on that one.
Hopefully that's something that'll change.
Yeah, what if you like you score a touchdown, you do a backflip, you start flipping off the other team.
That's highly frowned upon. But you can get away with some stuff, but nah.
Start like dishing out like Monopoly money to like people in the stands, like dollar bill style. Like yeah,
it's all a gray area over there.
This is like the subplot of the movie Basketball.
Pretty much.
Mike, I told you we could do that. I mean, come on.
I would love to.
Denver, Colorado.
For the whatever, it's still not open yet, although by the time this airs, it might be. Casa Bonita reopening under the
good old Casa Bonita.
Under the ownership of Trey Parker and Matt
I think
Stone.
it is open and you could be on a wait list. I think that's...
I know they're doing, like, as we record this, they're doing soft opens.
Okay.
And, like, friends and family stuff. So, yeah, by the time this airs, you might just be able to go there.
I mean, I run some of the hashtags on this. I mean, if I need to get another Stan Darsh, I will, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I will.
Do what you got to do.
I mean, shout out to South Park.
Yeah, but I'm willing to do Basketball. I actually kind of legitimately love it.
I know you said we should do that, but I'm totally in for it.
Okay.
That'd be great. Mm-hmm. Trey Parker, Matt Stone, you're totally invited. You should be on Rabbit Troop Sucks. Duh.
They could guest host.
Duh.
Yeah.
Duh. Lamar had a missed opportunity as of late. He went to go see They Might Be Giants, and I told him certain shirts he should wear, and that's all I'll say about that to keep that going. So.
We'll end it right there.
Okay, so we're back in. They're in the arena, and it is not going well for Manborg. But yeah, crack shot to everything with justice. Mina's throwing knives every which way. Mm-hmm. There's a scoreboard of the humans, and one of my favorite moments of Mina is her on the scoreboard because it's she kills a demon, and they're like giving her mad props. Like they're not like whoever's running media for this is not they're not playing favorites. Let's just say that. Because they point to Mina, and it's like this weird, very like you would imagine in Tokyo or Blade Runner, this very futuristic, like video screen. It's like she throws a knife, and it's like, well done, nice job, and she gives like a wink, like in a video game. But clearly, this isn't her personality at all.
Yeah, pre-recorded at some unknown moment, right. But she's obviously a crowd favorite.
Right. Yeah, even though they're killing their own, or she's killing their own, they like these humans to some extent.
But no one gets the props that she gets.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You can kind of see their fighting styles, too, in this whole battle. Like, Mina uses the knives, and what's his nuts?
Number one
Justice.
Man. Oh, yeah, Justice is the gun
has the
guns.
gun, or the smaller guns. We'll talk about Manborg's guns in a sec. And number one man is the puncher. And
I love number one man's opening, and it is, to the death, please.
I love that line. That was awesome. And the way he delivered it, that was great.
Mm-hmm. Considerate of him.
Yeah.
Every time I see this movie, I'm like, that's my favorite character. And then
number one man?
Time, no, that's my favorite character. And then the next time, no, that's my favorite character. And I think this time around, Justice stole it from me this time around. But they're all just wonderful characters you can smile and get behind.
They are. But yeah, so yeah, they're all kind of pulling their weight, except for Manborg. He doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Poor Manborg.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is a shame. But then at some point he kind of freaks out and his hand turns into a gun, and he's like, "Well, this is dope." But then he can't control it. He doesn't know what to do. He almost shoots Mina. I think he shoots a couple guys.
Yeah.
Oh, the audience. He shoots a lot of people.
He shoots a lot of the audience, but that seemed to be well received.
And the guy he shoots in front of him, he just destroys.
Yeah.
I mean, he puts like honestly like 150 bullets out of a Gatling gun into one person who is about 4 feet away. That guy is no more instantaneously.
Mm-hmm. But so they end up winning. Count Draculon is not stoked about their victory, and once they get put back in their laser prisons, no one else is pretty stoked about Manborg's behavior. You said the word earlier. This is where Justice is like, it's some pretty fancy shenanigrams you got out there.
Yeah, shenanigrams.
No one likes the shenanigrams.
No.
And they all, they say, Manborg, you're not one of us. And he says, I'm something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they tell him to go. And for a minute, I forget that they're all in prison because
Right. Get outta here.
Manborg does leave. And
Yeah.
I caught myself stopping and being like, where did he go?
Yeah. Where did he go?
That is a very good question.
Where did Manborg go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they tell him to leave and they're all in prison together and he like walks away and
I think he just like walks off to a corner.
Yeah, to sulk.
The corner of shame.
Yeah.
The sulking corner. That's so sad. Oh, Manborg. With his thumbs up and his crooked smile. Matthew Kennedy, you're amazing. You're a divorced dad. You're oh my God. One day we'll watch The Editor and we'll talk about who needs to be slapped and what's going on. It's just
Yeah.
Matthew Kennedy, you're amazing.
Oh no, where they take Manborg
They do he does walk off,
to
but
a
they do.
special little Manborg room.
Yeah, Manborg interrogation by
yeah.
the Baron and then Doctor Scorpius.
Yeah.
at Manborg is I don't think I've ever seen an action hero stand up under interrogation more eloquently.
like we're gonna get you. Oh yeah, okay,
Cool.
We're gonna torture your friends.
nice.
He gives them nothing to work with.
No.
Oh yeah, he holds his ground. He one doesn't really know what's going on, but two is mouthing off to really. Lucor is noting like Manborg is mouthing off to a level that is like instant irritation to the tormentor, and just amazing for the audience to watch.
Absolutely.
Good job, Manborg. It's not all about just cybernetics and guns.
Right. But this is now where we have, I think, your second favorite part of this movie, where the Baron is talking to Doctor Scorpius.
Yeah.
Okay, so Doctor Scorpius is clearly this human who has now been enslaved by the demon race, and he's kind of somewhat, you think, a coward. Like, dude, why would you give in? But what we quickly learn is he has a secret plan. Like, he's basically, the dad in Rogue One. Like, he's implanting the plans to the Death Star. Like, he's got ulterior plans and motives going on for the good guys and the humans in this. But he is, like, typing away on a computer. And the Baron walks in and is asking dating advice. And he's like, I don't know. Like, have you ever talked to her? And Dr. Scorpius tries to talk at first. He's like, well, have you? He's like, silence!
He's like, yeah. He's like, have you tried flowers?
Yeah. So already the Baron is yelling at the person he's trying to get advice from. Everyone has been in this situation. Everyone loves feeling like that. That's great. And Dr. Scorpius is still like, a enslaved human. He's gotten the shit beaten out of him several times and will again throughout this film. And the Baron keeps like asking dating advice. Yeah, as Luke was saying, like, have you tried getting flowers or giving her something? And finally, this is why I think of this. Dr. Scorpius, a beaten down, overworked man, is like, dude, like, can you just talk to someone else? Like, I have a lot of work to be doing, and why are you talking to me? He's like, can't you just go talk to the Count Dracula about this? I thought you guys were buddies. Like, you used to talk about this all the time. Yeah, and Mike alluded to it. He's like, yeah, when he's sober. But I think about this scene because Dr. Scorpius is clearly just not only like enslaved to have this conversation, but so agitated. Like, dude, I have work. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's great.
Hey, can you
Adam
imagine?
Brooks are amazing.
Can you imagine their conversations when he was sober? like Draculon and
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Baron
yeah.
and just
Oh my God, that was the extension on the DVD. Like
Yeah.
Barside stories of the Baron and Count Dracula. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, this whole scene really reminds me of, for any Venture Brother fans out there, like any interaction between
Oh my God,
the
yeah.
Monarch and his henchmen.
Yeah.
Like that is what this has that vibe for me, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. That's excellent.
But yes, so I don't know if he ever talked to I keep wanting to say Dr. Acula.
I got it. Yep, I said the same thing.
Count Draculon. Yeah,
There we go.
I don't know if he ever talked to him about that. But anyway, it's time for now. Manborg has to go back into the Terror Octagon or whatever,
And he's going to fight the champion.
who has what was it, 2037 sequential human kills, something like that.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, and he looks like a Doom boss.
Yeah, he's, I would say, at least 2.5 stories tall.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just like an 8-legged skeleton robot rocket launcher.
And we see, so you don't know anything about the Doctor right now, and the Doctor is off to the side, and you do hear him say, he's like, come on, you could do this. And you're like, why are you rooting for Manborg? Maybe there's a little more to this guy. And then clearly we will find out there is.
There is. Well, at first he just gets the shit beat out of him for a while.
But he takes it.
He does take it. He takes it surprisingly well.
Oh yeah.
But then out of nowhere, he has a secret eye laser that pops out and blasts the champion in the face.
Yeah, it's like under his elbow. It's like beep 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 beep, and a rocket just
And then there was
him.
the elbow missile, and that fucks the champion right up, and he wins.
Yeah, and the Baron is the Baron's pissed.
Baron is not happy.
Because for some reason, Draculon, I think, was looking at these games as a way to harvest blood. Like, there was no easier way for him to get blood.
Yeah,
Because when the
There's a lot of
humans
signs, yeah. Like
when the
don't get
humans
blood.
win the first time, he said, "You said this would provide blood."
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, but the Baron is pissed, but his first move, if anyone knows, he like goes to, there's a bot floating around, and he looks at the floating bot, he's like, execute all of them, except for number 7, who is Mina.
yeah.
I'm sure she'll be very pleased that all of her friends are now dead, and she is the only one left alive.
Right.
Very romantic.
But so they take Manborg back into the special Manborg torture chamber, and this is where Doctor Scorpius starts talking to him.
Yeah. Like, where did you come from?
I woke up in a box.
I love waking up in a box.
Yeah.
Is this the world you were expecting? No.
No.
Yeah, Manborg is so mouthy. I love it. No.
He doesn't have time for this shit. But Doctor Scorpius kind of gives him some background.
I built you, Manborg.
He built him, and he built him to make penance for the fact that this whole hell war was his fault because he was doing some sketchy science and accidentally opened up the portal to hell.
Yeah, Lamar, this was clearly one of your favorite scenes when they show Adam Brooks, Dr. Scorpius, at his desktop computer opening the portal to hell. I saw you and Lucor were noting, so like, did one of you say like he had backspace?
Yeah, yeah. You see hell emerging from the ground and the computer, and he's just hitting backspace as flames are wrapping around. And someone made the comment he should have used Control Delete.
Yeah. I did it. Yeah, that was me. I will say. No one could fault him. Like, imagine this. 2 feet in front of you, you and your computer just opened the gates to hell. You might want to hit backspace. Like, I mean,
That's what I would have done.
I mean, at least try it once.
Yeah.
Because someone might later on in your life be like, did you hit that? Like, oh, shit. I didn't.
Now, someone would be bound to ask if you tried turning it off and on again.
Yeah.
He did not. He wanted to start a little more basic. What code do you think he was writing in? DOS?
Cobalt.
Basic.
Yeah, great. Cubase?
I was going to write down the details of what this was, but instead I just wrote down Scorpius was fucking around and he found out. And that's pretty much what this background back scene was.
That's very true.
Just fucking around.
Yeah, and we learn that basically he has built Manborg as an act of redemption, that he has used the technology that these demons have, and he has used the spirit of a courageous man and combined them both with the hopes of humanity to become the weapon to defeat them. Interspersed in this, we see Mina and Shadow Mega a little bit like exchanging glances. Clearly, they have some kind of background we don't really know. It's the first time Shadow Mega actually shows any kind of emotion. She kind of like acknowledges Mina as someone who is there. But the only other time we really see her, she is just killing people.
Yeah.
Or knocking people out, whatever. You're Shadow Mega. Your name's Shadow Mega. What do? A shadow? Mega? Take it.
Doctor Scorpius leaves Manborg with a future cassette.
Take this future cassette.
Which, will to be played at a time in the future when it's crucial.
Or when he remembers.
He remembers he has it. And, spoiler alert, Manborg is just a giant cassette player.
Oh.
But, so, Manborg is going back into the prison, and he realizes that, I don't really know what he realizes, but he has to save everybody. He gets him out of prison by blowing up the future lock.
And they don't believe. Well, he left on bad terms because was useless, and they're like, he's a spy. But now Mina even turned around and was like, "Are you coming?" And he's like, "Yay!" And he comes around, and the first thing that they're gonna do is take over some hover bikes and get the hell out of here.
Oh, I think Mina changes her mind because when they're dragging Manborg off to the torture thing for the first time, the picture of him and his brother falls out of his pocket or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and he does eventually get that back.
Yeah, and she sees it, and she's like, okay, no, he's just a guy. He's just a guy like us.
Yeah.
He wasn't always a Manborg.
Right.
Yeah, so they go to escape, and immediately, before they get these hover bikes, they pan back to the Baron. And he's
got flowers.
He's vaulted in to give Prisoner 7 some flowers. And this is one of my favorite lines. And it was, I called her Prisoner 7, but to me, she was always Prisoner number 1.
That's sweet of him to say.
Oh, what an ass. And then the Count immediately gets on the video screen and is like, "Why do you have these flowers?" And the Count's like, "Those aren't for me, are they?" He's like, They must have used them to escape."
I'm gonna go arm the cannons. And he scurries off.
And then we get their bumbling, the crew's bumbling escape to these hover bikes, if you guys remember.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, there was this one scene where they see the hover bikes. They're sneaking around. They see them. They're trying to be quiet. And Borg looks like, how do they hover? Just at the top. Just really loud, like giving out their position. Just randomly out of the blue.
And then everyone else is hiding behind these boxes, and he's just kind of stooping slightly. And then he just holds a box in front of his head.
I did like this.
Yeah.
Manborg's not a stealthy man of the shadows.
Not at all.
No, he's not.
Well, he when he moves, it's like the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's a perfect description of his walking.
Yeah, so they are able to get to get these bikes. I'm only laughing too because I know Justice is screaming at him the whole time. He's like, "Come on, Manborg!" Just screaming. But they get these bikes and ride off. And this is where you again see that Justice is this like pistol dynamo, because even behind his back, he takes one shot. It's like left-handed. He like shoots a pistol behind his back, and it takes down like half a tower, like this like 50-foot tower like falls down, and it's falling down on all the demons that are coming after them, and he's shooting the other ones behind his back. I love you, Justice. It's great.
I noticed his skills were getting better and better as the movie progressed. In the beginning, he was barely making shots, but now he's dancing around and hitting everything point blank.
Right. It's like the more he doesn't care, the more apathy he has, the better he is as a pistolier. Take that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so they go to they have to leave the city, I guess. And the city looks dope as fuck, honestly.
That's true.
Like this whole scene I really like, kind of like the top down. It was like a video game. I like this scene a lot.
I do as well.
But they ride out of town to like the wastelands and they go to like a secret trash hideout that's protected by the little guy.
Yeah.
He's like a Jawa, kind of.
He is kind of like a Jawa.
He does say something very close to Wu Ti.
He does, yeah. He definitely does.
Yeah, and so apparently, when we first saw Number One Man, he was a prisoner, and he broke out, and we really don't know why yet, but soon we're going to find out. He's going to reveal this to Justice, and that he brings him back to where his hideout was. So he's like, come over here, and it's like some weird trash heap, and he moves some stuff. I like this. He like moves like a big like pipe, and he's like, hey, Mina, check this out. he's like moving
pumping
pipes.
iron and shit.
Yeah, it's like super weird. But he's like, come down here, and they find this like tunnel down, and Justice says, where did you get all this stuff? Oh, I hid here, when I was hiding out, and there's food, and there's, places to sit, and it's underground, and you're going to be safe. So that's good. Kind
Yeah,
of.
because apparently the Hell Fiends can't find them underground.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is gross out there. They don't want to go over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And at that point, it's recommended that a plan is made, which doesn't sit well with Mina at all.
No, yeah.
No.
Mina sneaks off and goes back to the Genesis Tower.
Right.
Because she sees Count Draculon in some weird demon form. I kind of like this. He comes like a trash demon. He's like, why don't you come back? Like, only you could fight me.
Well, there's allusions like, you have to save her, or don't you want to try to save her?
Yeah.
Like alluding that there's some... I don't know that we ever really find out what it is.
Shadow Mega?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what their relationship
I have
was,
only
but-
guesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had something.
But this scene, I really felt like was a shout out to Bram Stoker's Dracula with the illusionary visitations of Dracula
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
during his kind of harassment and attacks on Mina.
Yeah, and then he just kind of dissolves back into trash.
Yeah. And again, I know watching this, it might seem like dated. One, the creativity is off the charts with this. And again, going back that they had a limited budget. This movie highlights that you could tell an awesome story with a limited budget and everyone is going to love it.
And the cinematography is absolute artistry. Like, it's some of the most beautifully shot scenes. And obviously they were experts at post-production stuff, but it's just visually beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, clearly a lot of post-production. One of the trivia pieces was, who's the director? Gillespie?
Yeah, Jeremy?
Yeah.
No. That's not the director. He does the music.
Oh, okay. Kowalski?
I know where you're going.
Yeah,
Yeah, get the name right.
Stephen
here.
Kostansky?
Kostansky, yeah. That most of this movie was shot just like in his garage, and they
Yeah.
just added things after the fact.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, we might say there's limitations, but the creativity is off the hook.
And the acting is also brilliant. Like, it's a homage to those B movies, but the acting is like top shelf.
No, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that I really appreciate about this is this movie is very self-aware, and usually kind of campy, self-aware B movies are terrible.
Yeah.
And this is the opposite of that. Like they really walk that line of like, it's an homage. It's kind of like a lampoon in some ways of the movies that they enjoyed, but like they do it really well.
It's not over the top and too
Yeah.
far. It's just the right amount.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of that winking at the screen, like we're in on the joke, but it doesn't take you out of it.
I feel like as the movie went on, there was a little more joking. Like, I don't want to say it was super serious in the beginning, but there's more things taken more seriously in the beginning. And then as it went on, it became a little more silly, but
Right.
it wasn't like full slapstick, just out of control. It was still coherent, and it was still
For sure.
solid piece of movie.
Like, basically, the minute the Baron starts hitting on Mina, that's when the comedy starts.
And you know what? It wasn't even that bad. And then in the end, when Baron and Scorpius are just, hey, help me land this chick.
Right.
That's when it started ramping up a little bit more.
Well, I think this is also like a testament that they're using their time so wisely. Like, again, this movie is like really like credits and all. This movie's like straight up 1 hour. And there's so much backstory that you're given. There's so much, character buildup. It's really kind of crazy that like you watch this and you're like, wow, start to finish, I know entirety of what this is. I mean, props to them. And later, Astron 6 and before, I mean, we'll see. I don't really remember chronologically the order. I know the editors later on. They do have fuller films, like an hour and a half. But again, like what they pack in for 1 hour is bananas. And it is just so much fun.
Yeah, and it's not even just the like plot progression that they pack in there. There's character development. Like a very beautiful scene is Justice and Number One Man making macaroni and cheese. And it comes out that Justice is illiterate. And the macaroni and cheese making is kind of like a coaching moment where Number One Man is like teaching him how to read through the instructions. He keeps trying to throw the noodles in before it's time.
So sad.
And so simultaneous to this like no moment wasted plot progression, there's time for you to get to know and fall in love with the characters.
Damn right. So this is where Manborg unlocks the future cassette, and we get Doctor Scorpius telling him that there's a lot more that he needs to train and he could unlock his real potential. But Doctor Scorpius is a huge ass about it. He's like, I'm Dr. Scorpius, and you've unlocked your future cassette. Manborg says something like, I did. He's like, why are you even talking? Listen to what I'm saying.
Because he first makes the point that he's probably dead at this point.
He's like, I'm probably dead or something more horrific. Say something like that.
And so I couldn't help but think about time travel, the way that Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure frames it, and how many times the Doctor must have had to go back and forth to create a back and forth conversation.
By this time, he was already annoyed by him. He's like, stop talking.
Well, I love Dr. Scorpius' holographic version. He's easygoing, he's whimsical, he's all smiles. This is the Dr. Scorpius I want to hang around with.
It is a different Doctor Scorpius, you're right.
A different, softer Doctor Scorpius.
It is.
But even though it's a recording, he can ask questions which are answered, which I think is a wonderful thing for the Doctor to have taken time for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where we get a little bit of a montage where they really realize that they do need to train. And mixed in here is Mina has made it back to the Genesis Tower, and she is now fighting actively Shadow Mega. In a weird fight, we get some flashbacks, and as Mike noted, like, do we really know what their relationship is? There are flashbacks where Mina was younger, this girl and her were holding hands, the other girl was ripped away, I'm guessing by a demon army, or demons to some extent. They've experimented on her. Yeah, the question is, were they really good friends? I would assume they're not family, because Justice is her brother, and they probably would have said something, but like really close friends, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good point. I at first thought they might have been family, but made a point that Justice would have said something. So
Yeah,
I just thought friends, maybe.
Yeah.
Be like, oh yeah, I had another sister.
Yeah, they really want you to think that they're sisters.
Yes.
It seems weird that Justice wouldn't have
But
remembered.
Justice is a wild card. Because
He's kind of a doofus.
presumably, if they grew up together, because the flashbacks show them growing up in the kind of like outer regions of like scraping together a living, but he seems totally blown away by the poverty present when they're escaping on the hover bikes.
Oh my god.
He's looking.
There's burger wrappers everywhere. He's got cabbage on his head.
Take your cabbage off your head.
Despite the fact that he's spent who knows how long in a prison gladiatorial fortress.
Maybe they're not blood related. Maybe this is more of like they're orphan kids who grew up and they consider themselves brothers and sisters as an orphanage would. Maybe they all were, and maybe he wasn't as close to her as she was. I don't know.
It's still weird that he wouldn't have remembered like his sister's best friend or whatever.
Or have like where was he living that was so swanky?
There were no burger wrappers wherever he was. No one had cabbage on their heads.
He threw the burger wrappers down to them. That's why he's like, no.
Shit got real for him.
Those were his burger wrappers.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah.
I don't want those burger wrappers.
No. No, you don't. But yeah, but they're the two of them are fighting, regardless of who they were to each other. They're duking it out now.
Yeah, and so the montage is complete, and Manborg is now successfully trained in sword fighting and ammunition/gun combat. And they ride off on the bike together, and Manborg notes that they're not just a group, they're family. And take that. Take that, world.
And take that, Fast and Furious. This is a more solid family. It's a smaller family.
Yeah, so they get to Genesis Tower, and they are just gunning down everyone left and right. Like, they walk in as, like, a shredding machine. This is why I noted before that, like, it seems like number one man... Mike noted that Shadow Omega was there. That number one man is just holding his own. Like, he could take down like a whole army. So it seems like he went down pretty quick early on, but maybe he wanted to be captured back. Maybe something, I don't know. But they're going through, and Manborg tells Justice that he's got to split. He's like, I got something to do, and it's to take on Count Dracula on his own. And another dyslexic moment, as Lucor pointed out, between Justice, that he has dyslexia, is he's like, no, Manborg, don't go there. It says danger. Manborg looks at the door and looks at him. He's like, says like emergency. Oh, yeah, you're right, Manborg. Okay.
It was like elevator.
Oh, yeah, elevator. That's right. Like, all right, never mind, Manborg.
Yeah, but he's making progress, little at a time.
Oh, Manborg is all grown up.
Yeah. But yeah, so Manborg goes off to fight Draculon. And we have kind of a few simultaneous duels. Number one man is fighting
the Baron.
the Baron, yep.
Justice and Mina team up. Mina's back. Like, I can't get rid of me. And Justice and Mina team up and fight Shadow Mega.
Yeah, in her final form, which is like a scary robot.
Yeah, it's like a robot spider black cloud.
Yeah.
Kind of look like a mini version of Champion.
Yeah, kind of.
Little champion.
Yeah, we miss Champion.
Little champ.
And in the
Lil Kev.
You like this movie, baby?
Go for some popcorn right now.
There's a bowl of cereal.
That little hand.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that little hand.
In the final reference to what's his name?
Manborg?
No,
Justice.
Justice. Thank you. To his
illiteracy.
To his
Talked
illiteracy.
Oh yeah, Mina gets knocked down,
Yeah,
and she's like, grab the
grenades.
Well, she can't fully say. She's like, grab the grenade.
And he looks over and there's like a belt that says grenades on it. And he's like, oh, sound it out.
All right, you can do this now.
I don't know why he needed to be able to read it in order to interact with it, but
That's true. I didn't think about that. Presumably, he's seen a grenade.
like I would have assumed he knew what it was, but
I think Mina even saw him. She could have just told him, hey, throw those over
that
there.
thing, dummy.
But oh well. He overcame his disability.
Yeah,
He did.
He sounded it out. He figured out it was grenades, and he saves the day.
He does save the day. He
picks one up and throws it right in her face.
yeah, and blows her right the fuck up.
And then we never know about her story ever again.
Not mentioned.
She's dead-zo.
But the key fight out of the three showdowns that are happening is the Manborg v Draculon fight.
Definitely.
Yeah, number one man takes down the Baron pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
no
like,
big deal.
and he does expand on his backstory. He's like, we offered you a position to number one man. We offered you a position. You could have been more like us. Like, we would have made you like a demon king because they wanted his training. And the Baron's like, why did you give it all up? It wasn't for love, was it? And number one man goes, yes. and then wasn't Baron's reaction is like, how dare you?
They kind of have a little silent moment, like, oh man, it was love. And it's kind of awkward.
Well, how dare you?
And then finally, how dare you?
because obviously the Baron sensed that they shared a love interest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then number one man kicks him right backwards into some like electrode that electrocutes him, and he is dead.
Luke Kingdom.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so now we're at the main fight, and it's Manborg versus Count Draculon. And Count Draculon is in the middle of an arena, and they fight a bit.
Yeah, but first Manborg falls out of like 100-story tower.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when he approaches Count Draculon, he's in like his penthouse or whatever. But yeah, he gets his shit kicked right out of the window into the pterodactylon or whatever it's called.
I think when Manborg first saw him, they have a little dialogue.
Yeah.
I think Draculon's like, you know what? I killed your brother. And come take your vengeance. And Manborg looks and I was like, oh, yeah. He's ready for it. It's probably my favorite quote in the movie, I gotta say.
Lamar, I love the Russian scene. Lamar and I are huge Mega Man fans. So going to all of you video game fans out there, Lamar and I love Mega Man. Imagine running into, if you don't know Mega Man, at the end of any stage, you have to fight a boss. And you're in like a chamber arena. Imagine if they just dubbed in, oh yeah, as Mega Man ran into any of those rooms.
That would enhance any battle for me if I heard that. Awesome.
I would think differently of Mega Man. I wouldn't see it coming. Yeah, so things are going kind of like equal for both of them. Like everyone's getting some shots off on each other. Like the fight's pretty good. Like it's pretty epic. I'm digging it.
Mm-hmm. But eventually, Count Dracula does kind of get the upper hand.
Destroys Manborg's left arm right off him.
Cuts his arm right off. But who comes to save the day? I don't know where the fuck she came from, but Mina pops in.
They're like, once they were all done with their battles, they're like, "Where's Manborg?" And they all just were like, "We need to go to the arena."
Yeah. And so Count Dracula kind of has him against the ropes, and Mina just throws a knife into the back of his head.
He does not like that.
No, he's not stoked about it.
Yeah, and it's right before he kills Manborg. He was about to stab him.
Yeah.
And so she throws a knife and it distracts him.
Right, so that does save Manborg.
But she gets hit with like some blue energy orb.
Pure energy.
Pure energy.
Yeah. Energy. I don't remember how, but Manborg does. He just like stabs. I think he stabs him in the neck or something.
Yeah, so his counter move is once Mina is like pure energy.
Yeah.
He uses it to kill him and like stabs his head in half.
Right.
As you do.
But then oh fuck, Mina's dead.
Yeah.
And everyone's kind of panicking about this. You know, we got to do save her, Manborg.
Yeah.
And part of what we didn't tell you was in the future cassette, Doctor Scorpius said, "Hey, like before you go off to battle, there's something inside of you, and you'll know when to use it."
Yeah.
And now it's time.
Hey.
And it's a callback to that. He's like, "Well, there's something inside of me." I don't know. I use the Doctor Scorpius voice a little bit there. There's something inside of me.
Something inside of you.
It would just be like, "Nope." If it's Manborg, like, "Open, open up." But he does open his body up, and there's some blue goo that he puts right into Mina's mouth, and it revives Mina.
Yeah.
And Manborg is now dying.
Yeah.
And Justice is piecing this all together way too late. Like, "Oh no, Manborg!"
Wait, is that the only goo you got? It was the only goo he had.
Yeah, they got to replenish the goo. Mm-hmm. But Manborg dies. Well, before he dies,
this is my.
There's a little more future cassette. So in the last moment of Manborg's existence, you guys could document the holograms. It's like a very Return of the Jedi moment here.
It is. Yeah. So Doctor Scorpius is there, and he's like, "Manborg, there's someone I need you to see," and oh fuck, it's his brother.
Mm-hmm. Who, just in case, like he wasn't sure that Manborg remembered, he's like, "I was killed at the beginning, remember?"
Yeah. So, years ago, Paul, you and I at least watched this movie with my friend Ray.
Oh, yeah.
And when Manborg's brother said, "Hey, bro, it's me, your brother." I don't think I've ever seen anyone laugh as hard as Ray lost his shit.
Yeah. He was pretty destroyed at that moment. Me, your bro, from the beginning.
From the beginning. So they kind of have a little heart-to-heart chat about what's going on as Manborg is dying.
And Manborg has about maybe 5 seconds left in him.
Yeah, no, just very, very few moments. And his brother's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, there's no heaven." And Manborg's dying words are, "There's no heaven."
The look that he gave him when he said there's no heaven, too, just kind of shook his head.
And it's kind of like that, that jaw, like shuddering, like, like he does that, like, "There's no heaven." And I didn't fully catch it, but Justice is like, "Calm down, man,
No,
boy.
like,
It's okay."
He's like, "Let go, Manborg."
Let go. You've got to let go.
right as he's trying to get clarification.
And not only that,
Go into the light.
Scorpius is shooing his brother away from the scene, like, get out of here. This is
outta
my
here."
scene.
You're
Go
not
away
helping.
now.
And there we go, and Manborg dies. And Mina is fully back, and it's back to the original crew that we did not see as an audience. It is the three. It is Mina, Number One Man, and Justice. And they're back at it. Justice with his pistols, Number One Man with his fists at a firm stance, and Nina pulls out her blades. I always like when she pulls it out because you hear like, pa-chink, and there's like a little gleam from it. And then it kind of pans up. You get a more bird's eye view, and there's hordes of demons, and then you get other scenes, and they are surrounded, and that is how Manborg ends, that they're back, and you're clearly under the idea that they're going to beat them, and Manborg's probably not coming back, but Astron 6, I love you for making this movie. I love everyone in this movie. I love everything about this movie. Everyone, if you like movies like this, should watch this movie. Boom.
Yes, and any game designing firms out there, if you get in touch with them and get permission to work with them to make a video game out of this movie, we would appreciate it.
That'd be great. I'll play it.
That would be.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you here, probably not, are fans of the Far Cry series.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a Far Cry mini
played
game called Blood Dragon, which is basically Manborg in video game.
Oh,
Tell me more.
It's
well, fuck.
it's terrific.
God damn. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like Far Cry, I haven't gone past like the second Far Cry. I know there's like 6 of them now or something like that, or 5.
Yeah, there's quite a few. This was like a mini game based on Far Cry 3, I think. It's a lot of fun. It's like a 2-hour game to play through, but it's great.
That's still cool that there's some video game, something similar to Manborg. Even though I made a reference to, we talked about Mortal Kombat and Final Fantasy and Mega Man. We're talking about video games here.
Yeah.
This movie really, it can inspire a video game on its own.
Yeah, I'm going to say Astron 6, they have a shorts collection, and it is massive. Some of them you could find on YouTube, but like there are like 20-minute shorts, there's 5-minute shorts, but it is jam-packed. And I remember, cracking this open. I've watched it with Mike and Lamar on different occasions. I've clearly been the one to see the majority. But I just remember like one night, like Lamar, you were over, it was before my daughter was ever born, and it was just kind of like, it was just like a later night, and it was like until 2 a.m. Lamar and I were watching these shorts. It was kind of snowy and wintry, and we just didn't have to work the next day. Like such an awesome memory. It was just like laughing and laughing. Like I love this crew. Like Astron 6, you were awesome.
Wow. Even the short that you played after we watched this tonight, I remember it gave me flashbacks to that. I should talk about that.
So that's the quick bonus we're going to give you. So we also watched... Astron 6 also made previews to movies that don't exist, but basically they're extended previews. So instead of like, I don't know how long a preview normally is. Sometimes they're like way too long nowadays, but I think they're usually 2.5 or 3 minutes. But this short was like 10, and it's to a sequel to a movie that doesn't exist. And it was, does anyone remember the full title?
Laser Ghost 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Return to Laser Cove.
Yeah. Laser Ghost 2, Return to Laser Cove. And we saw it on YouTube, and it is on their short series. But yeah, you guys should set up that premise.
I don't even know how to approach this. It turns out Einstein was evil, and his ghost is coming back to laser people.
Why wouldn't you laser people?
Yeah, and we learned that lasers corrupt, and absolute lasers corrupt absolutely.
I don't know. I'm just going to say the word laser-nomicon.
I got it. In the spectacular sci-fi sequel, the emotionally fractured Trance must overcome the demons of his past and once again wage war on the evil spirit of Einstein and his army of laser-wielding ghosts. Together with the ghost of the dead comrade, a rogue cop, and a sultry scientist, Trance must return to Laser Cove and make a final stand against the technologically advanced forces of evil. Mm-hmm. See you, Laser.
And watching that alone, it felt like I watched a nice little 10-minute movie.
Yeah, it's great. You learn that these ghosts are after people and they have to laser them like Ghostbusters, and one of their friends dies, unfortunately, but comes back as a ghost to help them, and they learn these ghosts don't like the green laser.
No.
And it's hinted that even one of the friends that you thought was okay might actually be lasered in some way.
Yeah, then not like, like you've been a ghost all along, but maybe maybe not. Yeah, so yeah, these guys make amazing movies and shorts, and it's fun to watch that. There's so many other super fun ones. I know we'll definitely do another Astron 6 movie at some point in time, if not, a couple other things, but. Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't want to come hot out of the gate. Mike and I had to get 49 episodes under our belt before I felt comfortable giving this group and this crew the honors that they deserve. I mean, creativity skyrocketing with this group.
But yeah, speaking of 50 episodes, that's kind of crazy.
I know.
Also, thank you for listening. Our biggest new market is Germany. We have a ton of... right now, 20%.
Guten Tag.
20% of our listeners are from Germany.
What?
Oh,
I know.
Guten Tag, Germany.
Wow.
What's going on?
What'd you guys do? You got a bratwurst sponsor?
We're basically the David Hasselhoff of podcasts.
Maybe Mike's like salty comments against UK got some German listeners.
I forgot about that.
Oh, jeez.
Got some German listeners being like, I want to subscribe to Rabbit Troop Sucks.
Okay.
This guy
guy
is
gets it,
speaking my language.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So
thank you guys for listening. That's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah, if you're just catching in, and you have lots of episodes. As always, you can reach out to us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. You could hit us up directly at rabbittroopsucks.com. See some pictures of us, suggest that we watch something, or just like get in contact with us. There's some cool merchandise out there, some variants on shirts, as Mike has noted. So check that out. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and when you leave us a 5 out of 5 star review, make sure you do it with a smile.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't wear that Rabbit Troop Sucks shirt to the They Might Be Giants concert.
Yeah.
It just writes itself.
Yeah, they know. Mm-hmm. They know. Hey, guys, coming up next, we have Lucor again is going to be joining us with the Great Yokai War. And we're going to learn a lot about, different yokai. And Lucor is going to get some detailed on where some of the yokai like to gravitate towards. There'll be a little surprise on some yokai lore. I don't know what
Sometimes lore is surprising.
Yeah.
yeah. But make sure to bring some specific Azuki beans.
And don't get too close to the water's edge.
Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, before we totally wrap up, what was everyone's final views on Manborg? I mean, clearly I've gushed over it. There's really nothing more I could say outside of watch Manborg. It's awesome.
Yeah. Watch Manborg. It's awesome. I'm sorry I can't add more to it. Just love this movie. It's nice. It's 60 minutes.
Yeah.
You can breeze through that and you'll have fun watching it. Remember having fun watching movies?
No. Sometimes. I mean, when I watch this, I do. Yeah. So yeah.
Have yourself a good time. Have some laughs.
I'm picking up your vibe on this. I like it.
There you go. Yeah, that's all I think about this movie is that it's a fun time.
Yeah. Lucor, what do you think?
I would say, as far as movies that embrace that kind of like tradition of B movies, this one does so, while at the same time creates a movie that I think might be without fault.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
That is a ringing endorsement.
Bam.
It's the perfect movie, Lucor. Would you say that?
I think you can have a lack of fault without reaching what can be perfect?
I got you, Lucor.
Yeah.
I feel you, yeah.
I mean, there's turtles, but
yeah. I feel you.
but yeah. So
I like how you said there's turtles. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and we'll get there eventually. I mean, that's
the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
duh.
obviously is like something to measure all other cinematography
That's fair.
against.
Yeah.
But this movie, at nothing, I would say was like they could have done better on that.
I'm impressed with what they did with their budget, their supposed budget, if it's true.
Yeah.
Even if it was more than that, I'm still impressed. If it was
Yeah.
$10,000,
Right.
well, I don't
Yeah,
know,
like-
but yeah, I'm still satisfied
Yeah,
with their
like the
final product.
cast carried themselves with brilliance. I haven't seen scenes composed as like aesthetically like enjoyable consistently. It's just beautiful to watch, well acted, excellent music. The story moves smoothly, the characters develop. Even the villains, you start to get a little bit of affection. The Baron, really, you get a window into his troubled life.
That's a weird window.
There's depth, and all in
I've got a lot of work to do.
2/3 of the time that a typical movie is expected to take.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
it doesn't feel rushed. It's a brilliant movie.
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah, no, I like this movie a lot. There are better movies than Manborg, but Manborg could not have been a better movie. For what they were
I
trying
like
to
that
do,
quote.
this was the best that Manborg could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, all things considered, it's amazing. It's fun, it's funny, it's like, I will say it's well acted because they accomplished their intent, which is, I think, what's important to recognize here. Yeah, no, it's super fun. Everyone should watch this movie.
Yeah. And I don't want to name names, but sometimes people go too far when trying to give, like homage to some of these, like campy, tropey sort of like cinema experiences. And this movie did not go too far.
No.
Yeah, I think the big thing, Lucor, I totally agree with you. I think the big thing is they took like the spirit of all of those movies and they're still like, I'm going to write an original script, original scenario. We're going to do all of this and put ourselves in these situations. But remember all those other stories and B-side scripts that like made us like this? Like they totally mesh it well. Like, yeah, again. Well, since it's the 50th episode, I have 2 questions for each and every one of you.
Okay.
And it'll be pretty quick, so I'll wrap it up pretty nicely. Since it's Manborg, I'm gonna go with each one of you. If you were a Manborg character, who would you be in this Manborg movie and why? I'll start with Lamar.
Oh my goodness. If I was a character.
In Manborg.
I would probably be Mina. She was probably the most badass in combat simply because of the knives, and she gets her own little kill screen when she kills someone. I thought that was awesome. If I had to be a character, it'd probably be her, even though I gush about the gun boy. My God, I forgot his name. Justice.
Yeah.
I gush about him. He's pretty awesome. He's kind of a wimp in my opinion. But I like Mina, even though she gets fucked up by the Shadow Woman later on. But that's who I'd pick.
Who would you be? Who would you be, Lucor?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of an unconventional answer because I don't think of myself as a villain, but the Baron character, you really get to see the depth and nuance. He's a hopeless romantic at heart. He's got no filter. But no one listens to him. Like, I feel like he's alone in a tower of who knows what. Like, I don't know. I just found an interesting affinity with his space in the world.
I love it.
I like that.
Mike, who would you be?
I mean, I want to say Justice because I'm kind of an idiot.
All you need is
Manborg,
2 guns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not because of the combat skills, but I mean, I guess if we're being honest, I'm probably the little guy from the trash heap.
What? The Ewok?
Yeah.
The Jawa guy?
Yeah. Ooh.
Wow.
Aw.
No, I would be Justice. I would be the foul-mouthed kind of moron.
There you go.
I love it.
Who would you be?
Yeah,
Lamar took mine. I definitely felt that would be
yeah.
Mina.
I kind of felt like you would take that route.
I'm gonna be very direct. I like her knife play. I think she's like throwing all these cool daggers, and I'm way too emotional. I'll take everything super personally. And when number 1 man left, I'd be super like distraught and salty myself. So Boom. That's my personality.
Yeah, she seems to be the only non-joke character too. Not that Draculon is a jokey, but I think those two characters are the more serious ones.
Yeah.
Why are people leaving? Come on, man. And lastly, hey, 50 episodes, 50
episodes.
more.
Wow.
What kind of movies you guys want up? Any ideas that you guys are thinking about some movies along the way?
I was thinking an 80s action flick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like 80s-ish.
Keep that in mind, and we'll talk off air. We could talk almost in code, because I definitely have an idea for Lamar on that.
Oh, yeah.
Lucor, maybe even if kind of in the vein of how Lamar responded, is there like a film essence that you would like to cover with us? Not that it has to be a specific title.
The first thing that popped into my head is totally inappropriate, and that would be something by David Attenborough. But
Great. Fantastic.
but I mean I've been really loving these 80s deep dives. I think what was that movie, Night of the Bear? That was almost like a
Cocaine Bear?
No, this was a handful of people were out camping and this bear attacks.
Wait, did we watch this together?
A long time ago, right before the Corn Maze movie.
What?
Ooh.
So these people are camping, this bear attacks, and then it starts to like go off the rails into this Jerry Springer-esque thing where it turns out that like the bear is outing people for having had an affair, and it's a very complicated movie, but I think it's called Night of the Bear.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
And did you say before the Corn Maze?
Yeah, there was another movie that we watched. This was many years ago, and it's a scary movie, involves a corn maze, and there's this peculiar trend that only the villain seems to understand that you can walk through the corn. Everyone else is trying to like navigate the maze to get out.
Is this literally Children of the Corn? Did we watch Children of the Corn?
I've never seen Children of the Corn. It's always scared me.
Okay, and Mike, as we're going through this, any movies overall, essence-wise, that you would like to get into next 50?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop on Lamar's gravy train and say like 80s kind of action movies.
Nice.
And I'll add kind of 80s sci-fi to that as well, because those are the movies that I watch by myself when I'm at home. We've delved into some 90s stuff, and by and large, that's less fun for me. The 80s is where I'm at, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I have said on many podcasts that I love the 80s, and that's really my wheelhouse. There is some 90s stuff that I think Mike and I have discussed that I think is going to be extra fun coming up. But yeah, talking off air, I have a couple action movies that I think would be very well suited for this. One specifically that will probably be sooner rather than later. But
Yeah, we've talked about that movie a bit,
yeah,
and I'm in for it. It's a secret for now.
it is a secret.
But yeah, I don't know what these 90s movies you're talking about are, but I don't know if I'm in for that.
But are you a friend? Do you like secrets? Remember, you could always write Mike. Write us at Rabbit Troop Sucks. I'll give you Mike's private email.
My
and
secret Dropbox of
you can get to know.
pleasures.
Yeah, you can get to know him on a sultry level, and you get to know about the pleasures. Yeah. So as always, thanks for joining us. Rabbit Troop Sucks. Thanks for the 50.
Yay.
Bye.
50 episodes.